Oh, goody.
Alright, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So today we're kicking off a new series focused on learning the lore of some of our favorite characters in Marvel Snap. Who could be better to start off with than one of the most popular cards in the game, who many players may not have heard of before seeing her in Snap? Li Ling, aka Aero, is a renowned architect by day and a superhero by night, doing her best to balance her regular life with her hero one. Her powers include control over air currents, reading chi, and being able to fly. She attended Tongji University, placing top of her class, and after graduating went on to form her own architecture firm, Sacred Tree Design, which was responsible for designing many new buildings in her home of Shanghai. Aero's first appearance was in Aero No. 1, Chinese manhwa series created by Zhao Lifen and Kang, which serves as a prequel to her appearance in War of the Realms: New Agents of Atlas. In her solo comic series, Aero is faced with an unexpected dilemma as some of the buildings she has worked so hard to design were being made into massive golems hellbent on destroying the city. After taking down one of these behemoths, a new threat appears, a monstrous beast descending from the sky, threatening to crush the city and all its inhabitants. She uses her powers to track down the person controlling the monster, only to discover it is her former mentor, Madame Hong. After some clashing between the two, Aero is introduced to her old mentor's new apprentice, Keystone, whose rocky exterior resembles the golems she fought earlier. While this is going on, we get flashbacks into the past of Aero's life in the months leading up to this faithful encounter. We flash back to Aero saving a boat of civilians from a crazy storm while trying to balance her relationship with her boyfriend, who has no idea about her heroic endeavors, though he has some suspicions. A tower of white jade emerges from the water and crystalline creatures begin to attack Aero. She is able to fight them off and dismantle the mysterious tower, but can't help but feel as if it's a part of some bigger plot. Not long after, Madame Hong seeks out Aero at her work, reveals that her secret identity is known, and offers to help with information on these mysterious jade towers popping up all over the city. After another encounter with the crystal golems at one of her job's construction sites, Aero decides she needs help to understand the full scope of this threat and how to deal with it. She provides a sample of the jade for scientists to analyze and decides to reach out to this mysterious Madame Hong for help. Hong tells Aero that these towers were an ancient relic of humanity's past, involving massive beasts called the Nest. Once humans relied on these creatures for protection, but as time went on, humanity did not need to rely on the Nest anymore and sought their destruction. Aero is reluctant to believe this story, but the topic changes and Hong starts to teach Aero how to use her powers to manifest the air in human-like shapes that she can control. This power becomes useful when she needs to stop more jade golems at a construction site when she can't physically be there due to obligations with her boyfriend. Exerting all this energy is exhausting, so she decides to wrap up date night early with the excuse of someone important coming into her work tomorrow. As Aero is busy with her job, we get a flashback from Madame Hong where we learn the jade towers were actually weapons made to destroy the Nest, and she is the last survivor of an ancient group of humans who were hellbent on protecting the Nest from eradication. Hong survived alongside a Nest, which she plans to use to regain her full power once the jade towers are gone. But Aero is taking too long to deal with them, so she sets her sights on Iron Man for potentially speeding up the process. Calling her Nest into range, the towers start to react by attacking civilians, and the bait is set for using Aero and Iron Man to destroy the one thing standing in Hong's way. Iron Man and Aero both fly off to investigate what's going on, but Aero's powers stop working mid-flight and she starts to plummet to her death. Luckily, Iron Man swoops in to save her, and this is when Aero reveals her true identity to him. They start to dismantle the towers by destroying the power source, and discover the cores used to power them act as a messaging device. By using Iron Man's technology to rebroadcast the message, they're able to influence the golems they're being attacked by to disengage and return to their towers. With this new discovery, they're able to stop the threat and easily destroy more towers. Iron Man has to return to New York due to another threat, but feels confident in Aero being able to finish the job there. Aero realizes she needs to not overly strain herself or she is at risk of her powers giving out again, so she returns to her mentor for more help. They engage in more training exercises, and we also see the fall of her former client, Shang Ke, who now hates Aero for foiling his money-making plot centered around the Jade Tower at his property, which she destroyed. This alludes to him later becoming Madame Hong's new apprentice Keystone, who we saw at the start of the comic series. Sadly, Aero's solo story comes to an abrupt ending there. What causes Aero and Hong's separation, and how does Keystone get his powers? For now, these questions are left up in the air. I really hope we get a continuation of it in the future, but doing the research for this video, I found no information on if we will be getting more comics to finish out the awesome solo story of this cool character. That's not the only place Aero shows up though. As mentioned before, she is a key part of the new Agents of Atlas. This series of stories involved Aero teaming up with a bunch of other heroes from Asia, including a very popular snap card, Wave, a hero who also has elemental-based powers. The two heroes run into each other while they are individually investigating a disturbance in the air and water. A sudden whirlpool followed by a fiery eruption from beneath the surface knocks out both heroes shortly after they'd realized that the disturbance they'd felt was set up as a trap. Incapacitating Aero and Wave allowed Queen Sindar to unleash her fiery goblin forces upon Seoul, South Korea, in an attempt to turn it into her new home, New Muspelheim. When the heroes come to, they are informed of what is going on by Tutu Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of lava and fire, who has a bone to pick with Sindar. There can only be one true fire goddess after all. Sindar isn't just trying to conquer Seoul, but rather the entirety of Earth. She plans to melt the ice caps and turn the world into her new fiery domain. With the help of the other new agents of Atlas, a plan is formed to stop Sindar's attempt at world domination. Aero and Wave are sent to the North Pole, along with another hero, Luna Snow, to use their powers over air, water, and ice to stop the melting ice caps from flooding the rest of the Earth. A monstrous fire beast attempts to stop them, but it is weakened from the other agents of Atlas fighting Sindar. Wave, Aero, and Luna are able to defeat the beast and stabilize the melting ice caps before returning to the main battle to help send Sindar and her fiery goblin horde back from whence they came. Aero also shows up in the Atlantis Attacks and Agents of Atlas comics, but plays more of a background role compared to the new agents and her solo run, so we won't be covering that in this video. But if these stories sound interesting to you, I definitely suggest checking out the comics she appears in. They're really fun reads. In Marvel Snap, Aero is a 5-cost 7-power card with the ability to use her wind powers to move opponents' cards played that turn into her lane. If the lane is too full to move all played cards into it, random selection will determine which units get pulled by her effect. In beta, Aero was a 5-cost 6-power, and most players didn't realize the true potential of her effect, so she was rare to see in-game. Shortly before global release, she was buffed to a 5-8 and then lowered back to a 5-7 in a later patch after becoming overwhelmingly popular and a staple card in many meta decks. That is all the info we have for our first episode of Marvel Snap lore. I'd love to hear what you think about this video, Aero, and what other characters you might be interested in getting some lore information on in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for this one though. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.